Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, the Speed Chess Championship Final. Two of the greatest chess players to ever exist going head-to-head across 3 intense hours of blitz and bullet chess. Magnus entered the match as a big fan favorite, having won their 2 previous matches in the format by convincing margins. But Hikaru had made big strides in his game since their last match, and in their 7 games so far in 2022, Magnus had not beaten Hikaru, and Hikaru had 2 wins. The first game was dramatic, but mostly balanced, as Magnus surprised Hikaru with an opening shot in bishop to f3 check.
Whoa, look at this! Oh,
Whoa!
they're following. I had a game just like this against Ding in the Pro Chess League 2 years ago. I remember this move.
Bishop f3 check catches Hikaru by surprise. He looks upset right now.
In a balanced endgame, both players missed a chance for Hikaru to take a pawn on h7, and ultimately they repeated moves. In the second game, Magnus met Hikaru's King's Indian with the surprising bishop to d3, and he seized a big space advantage and was pressing hard. Could he break through in the time scramble?
And I don't know, with 2 seconds, is he going to decide on c5? He decides to exchange rooks, but he gives up the pawn. Oh my gosh, and he's given up another one.
I think it's just a draw. Queen e1, and we have a draw by repetition.
Oh my lands, and Magnus doesn't decide on c5. It was difficult to calculate the ramifications, especially against Hikaru. It's a draw by perpetual check.
Game 3 looked like a dead equal snooze fest, but then Hikaru stole a pawn and cemented a big knight on b7.
Knight takes b7.
Magnus is starting to lose control. Can he trap this knight, though? Hikaru can save it with his pawn. c5 and c6. He drives the pawn and he cuts off the king.
Yeah, c6, the king cannot get in there. Bishop b6, he needs to go king e6.
Make a move!
The king can't get to the pawn.
Oh, he's gonna flag! He's gonna flag!
He lost
he just
time.
did.
And he can't believe it. And look at Hikaru. He's cool as a cucumber. He is focused, and he's acting like nothing just happened, but something huge happened. He gained the lead. It's the first lead in this match, and it belongs to Hikaru Nakamura.
Insane. After that shocking time forfeit, Hikaru had the first lead of the match, and he was clearly feeling some momentum while Magnus seemed all out of sorts. Carlsen pressed again with a space advantage in Game 4, but Hikaru showed his famous defensive skills and he held on in the mutual time scramble. Was the move 4e5 a mouse slip or a dubious opening try by Magnus in Game 5? Either way, Hikaru laughed and continued confidently, establishing a big advantage. 18 knight g5 was a nice and accurate move by Hikaru.
He goes knight g5, hitting the h7 pawn. The queen has to take the knight. The bishop takes the bishop on b7. And after black is rook a to b8, saving the rook and attacking the bishop, the c7 pawn falls. White goes up a pawn. It looks like a healthy extra pawn. So unless Magnus can drum up some counterplay, he is simply worse.
Magnus has literally 2 moves to drum something up because that pawn is reaching a8 in a tizzy, and Magnus flags. It's over.
Hikaru now led by 2, and a confident hold with black against Magnus in Game 6 kept the edge, as they headed to the 7th game where Magnus surprised Hikaru by playing the King's Indian himself, and Hikaru laughed as he deployed Magnus' earlier bishop d3 idea. Hikaru found a nice idea with knight to f5 to gain some edge, but in the time scramble, things got very messy.
You swap queens and win the d5 knight, so you got to keep your material. And speaking of material, white is only up 1 pawn. Queen takes f6.
And queen takes b5 as a desperado. He's got to move his...
Gosh.
Wait, what does Magnus do?
What a shot.
He sacks his knight.
And then rook takes e5 at the end, and then knight... Oh, knight's not trapped. It's rook b8. Wow. This goes right for the pawn.
He just wants an attack. Hikaru could even play like king a1, bishop b1. He can curl up into a ball. Instead, he eliminates the attacker.
And is rook takes a2 a possibility?
But Hikaru going for mate. He wants rook d7.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, this
and
is over.
1 second left. Magnus loses on time. Hikaru Nakamura sticks a knife on f6, and it is knockout. 5-2 is the score. Nobody's counting Magnus Carlsen out, but who would have believed that Hikaru Nakamura would jump out to a 3-point lead this early in the match?
Magnus repeated his opening from the 4th game in Game 8, but again, Hikaru defended well, and all of a sudden, his knight leapt into d3, setting up brilliant threats.
He goes knight d3 instead, using the knight to hop in, and that rook can go to c3, the queen can go to g4, knight f4 check is available. This is scary for white.
Black's position is filled to the brim with tactical potential. And what's not filled to the brim, look at Magnus's clock. He is again down 2 minutes, and the position is just getting more and more out of hand.
It is. He's just allowing
Knight
oh my
F4.
gosh, Knight F4.
He's
Knight
blundered
F4
Knight
is
F4 and it's mate.
Yeah, Hikaru sees it. He's like,
Hikaru
what?
can't
Are you
believe
kidding
it.
me? He looked at
And
the screen.
this is basic Brian, Robert. This is an idea that occurs across all openings. This is universal. And you can't step back to the first rank because if Rook C1 with mate, it's over.
Yeah, no, Hikaru saw it, and look at him. He's like, are you serious? Am I really playing Magnus?
This is all you got, he says to Magnus. He's going to be up 4 points, and Magnus has got a match on his hands, doesn't he?
Oh, a match. I mean, he's going to have to work hard to stay in
Rook
this
C1,
match
Queen
at this
H3.
point.
Oh, look at that mate.
Yeah.
Oh,
Done.
it's over.
Another surprise opening from Magnus in Game 9 as he played the Najdorf. This would be the final game of the 5+1 time control. A daring queenside castle by Magnus allowed Hikaru big chances, and suddenly the idea of trapping the queen lurked in the position.
So I feel like here, Hikaru, if he finds B3, that just shows the sensational form he's in, but he plays Knight D5. I anticipated this would happen, and Danya, now I really feel like Magnus has a chance in this game. It's Lasker compensation for the queen.
Though Hikaru had missed a clear win, he was still pressing hard when something insane happened.
And the white king will be victim to a lot of checks. So that's the one bit of good news for black.
Oh, Bishop G6, he blundered and Magnus
You
missed
missed
it.
Magnus is playing too quickly. Bishop G6 was a discovered attack on the rook on E1, and the queen on F7 was hit as well.
Unbelievable blunder. Magnus is not even thinking about it because he's so used to losing games. I think inertia just carried him forward. Bishop G6, a discovered attack, and you couldn't take the bishop, not because you lost the rook, but because you got mated after that.
Okay, but look at that move. Rook B5.
Queen E7.
Rook B2. It's a draw. Rook D1.
He allows
it's
a draw.
immediately.
And
Yeah.
listen, a good practical call by Hikaru. No need to do anything crazy. The only winning move there was Queen C7 to E7, but how hard is that to see with 2 seconds?
6.5, 2.5. After the 5+1 time control, Hikaru led by 4 and was still undefeated by Magnus in 2022. With a break to rest before the 3+1 time control, Magnus came out strong, getting a very Magnus-y positional advantage and pressing hard with his passed c-pawn.
Ah, I love that move. Love the move Rook B5.
Oh, the only move to win, apparently, according to the engine.
And Hikaru's just going to lose on time.
Magnus was on the board and had his first win against Hikaru in all of 2022. In their second 3+1 game, the players repeated their opening from game 1, but this time Hikaru found the bishop takes h7 idea to steal a pawn, although it was not enough to win. A fairly boring draw in the next game preceded a huge hold by Magnus in a difficult spatial squeeze.
And this has been phenomenal defense thus far by Magnus Carlsen, but can he keep it up? Rook to h8, preparing to occupy the open file he's created for himself. He's got the most counterplay he's had in a while. Go Rook B8.
Down a pawn. Goes Rook B8. I'm wondering if Rook takes C5 will be played by Hikaru.
That would be an incredible call and a very risky move, but a potentially rewarding move. That knight is a beast. But no, a draw. And a dodged bullet by Magnus.
The next game was shaping up to see Magnus be the one squeezing when commentator Robert Hess jinxed him.
Look at this. Knight C4, Bishop C7. You might just win a pawn.
Not quite yet, though. The knight defending that square, but at the moment it moves, you are leaning into C7.
No,
Oh, yeah, I got you. I That's what you
hung a
meant.
piece there. Yeah, but, you know, it's my rules of commentary. You always have to be willing to be incorrect. I blundered a piece. It happens. But no, Bishop C7 would be great except for the... Oh! No way! Oh, my gosh! Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? I think I should apologize to Magnus.
Is this a dream?
If it is, Hikaru never wants to wake up.
Hikaru's lead was up to 4 and he looked poised to expand it with a big knight takes f7 shot in the next game.
But look at Hikaru. He's spotting the tactics. Queen E7 play. And look at the eval. Wait a second. Was Knight D6 the best move? Because I feel like... Yeah, once we got here, the evaluation went down. And the reason why is if Queen E7, the bishop takes back, you take this on B7, C3 falls, B4 falls next, and then Knight is kind of trapped, stranded on B7.
Perpetual. It might be time for white to bail out.
You could take on B6, I feel like.
Nah, but then Queen D5. Is Magnus the one going for it? No, he can't go King G6, can he?
After Hikaru's knight sack, it was now Magnus' turn to sack a knight with a textbook continuation.
Oh, on A6. Is there a Knight B5? Rook C7,
Oh my
Queen
gosh.
D5.
That is sick. The bishop on F5 is loose, as is the rook on 8. And look at Magnus. He's looking at the board from the side, and I think
He can't miss this.
He can't. He has to find the move. And knight takes d5 does the same thing, right? He plays knight b5.
It might have even been better. Knight takes d5, there might have been bishop b6. And
yes.
Magnus delivers. He had no right to miss that tactic. This is what he eats, not for breakfast. He eats harder tactics than this for breakfast. And a big miss by Hikaru. How lost is this, Robert? Is this just a pawn down and you're losing a second pawn and your position is collapsing? Or is there any hope for Hikaru in the ensuing position?
It looks extremely lost. You have to take on c7 now, right? I don't see another move. And after queen takes d5, loose pieces drop off. LPDO, says Daniel Naroditsky. The rook on 8 is loose. The bishop on f5, is similarly loose. And so you lose a pawn, then b5 drops, and you're going to lose this game. So the break could not have come at a better time for Magnus.
Hikaru put up strong defense, but he could not hold it in the end, though he did drain a lot of time off of the match clock. And he amusingly utilized the heck out of that strategy in the next game, dramatically thinking 3 minutes off of the clock with a forced repetition sitting on the board.
I know there's a forced draw here. There's some sort of draw. Yes, that's it. And Hikaru's going for it. And he's forgotten about it, I think.
Yeah, this was from Lev Albert's Perk Alert, that book from way back in the day. I had that book. I played this opening from black. And the point is bishop f2 check, king d2, bishop e3 is a forced draw if you take the queen on d8.
Now, white has the possibility of playing knight b5. Hikaru's not going to dip his toes into that toxic pool. He's going to accept the draw. A great result for Magnus.
But he's not going to accept it until he spends the rest of his time.
I've forgotten again.
Yes. So Hikaru's clock is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. He's going to take it down all the way to a couple seconds, and then he's going to play king d2 and king e1 back. Black has no choice. You've given up your queen. And so you have to play this forcing sequence of bishop e3 check and bishop f2 check.
He can't be happy with the way he's playing, but he's definitely happy there's time left on the clock. Hikaru making one more move, and now he's going to wait again.
He's not waiting. He's thinking. He can spend this time thinking about how to play as black. So that's exactly what he is thinking about, is the next game, the next opening, what he should do. And, well, this game is about to be a draw as soon as king e1 is played. And
don't lose on time.
There we go. Okay.
When it mattered most, with time dwindling in the 3+1 time control, Magnus showed off some of his best chess of the match. First, finding a fine tactic to win a pawn.
It's winning. He's knocking on the door of having this lead. Can he finish it off?
Whoa. He goes there because bishop b6, king takes f6. It's winning.
What recognition? And
King
this
F6.
Is winning. King f6.
And just go back. You can take on
Where?
g5. I don't...
Move!
The position was still incredibly difficult to win, but Magnus showed some outstanding technique in the endgame.
Rook h4 and rook f4. It's not over yet. Hikaru might
Look at this. Bishop g4.
Oh,
He is
this
so
is insane.
Precise.
And this was necessary because Hikaru would have otherwise given up the rook and traded the last pair of pawns.
There was just enough time for one more 3+1 game, but the players repeated the Marshall line that had only led to draws so far, and again, the ultimate result was equality. With that, Magnus won the 3+1 time control by 2 points, but he was still behind by 2 heading into the bullet time control. Magnus had momentum, but he did not get off to a good start in bullet as he allowed a fine knight f4 move by Hikaru that set up some beautiful tactics.
Magnus just playing smart chess with knight f4. He allowed the knight out.
Oh, an early oversight. He has to move the bishop back. That gives Hikaru a tempo. Now, it's not the end of the world because his pawn structure can sustain it, but he'll need to smoke that knight out of f4 ASAP.
White has the structural advantage, but he blunders with knight d2. Queen b2.
Queen b2. Oh, what a move. Oh, what a tactic in game 1 of the bullet. It's going to win a pawn. The knight's jumping back to c4, and Hikaru's basically winning in the endgame.
And you saw Magnus, he's like, yep, I missed that one. And Hikaru needs to put this one away. It will give him a 3-point lead. But what a mistake by Magnus Carlsen. He is just an off form in so many of these games. Oh my gosh. Bishop g4 check and bishop e2, this rook f1 check, things like that.
Oh,
it looks
no.
very, very bad for Magnus.
Hikaru sees it. Guess what he's doing? Something he's never done before. He's bringing some time off the clock. Resign right now if you're Magnus. Knight c3.
Oh.
And he does.
That's it.
Magnus was unfazed by being back down to 3, and he pushed hard in the next game, creating some dangerous passed pawns on the king side, and ultimately winning out when things got messy.
Oh, this is not looking good for Magnus.
No, it isn't. A2 is also a bit loose, so if you take your
Rook
eye
B1.
off that pawn, you could lose the A2, and he goes rook B2.
Oh my gosh. Where do you go? You have to give up A2. You called it.
Take on
Bishop
A2.
A2.
He goes H2.
Oh, here
Good.
comes
He's
the
got
H-pawn.
pass Take on A2.
Bishop A2 now. Oh, Hikaru's collapsing. He's losing control of the game. Bishop E4 and G3 was winning.
And look at that.
And what
Queen
this-
F5 for the quickest checkmate.
Yep, clinical until the end, even with 2 queens on the board. He ain't lazy. Every second matters here, and only 7 minutes have gone off the match clock, so it has not been a catastrophe. Magnus gets this lead back to 2, and another pivotal game with the white pieces.
In the following game, a quick tactic was a game ender.
Whatever you do, don't lose this game if you're Magnus. This would be a heartbreaker. 96!
96!
He wanted a piece!
Oh my gosh! And he resigns right away. So see, I think Hikaru feels that the match is slipping. So instead of just wasting time, he's like, I need to get in the flow. Because right now he is a bit rattled. And Magnus Carlsen has cut the lead to just 1 point.
The players went into the Marshall again in the next game, and Hikaru was pressing hard when the critical moment arrived, with Magnus attacking F2 while Hikaru was going after Magnus's king in the center of the board.
He let the
King's
king
going to-
slip.
And there was Bishop C7 there, but still, this looks like anybody's gonna...
Rook F2! Oh my
What's
goodness,
up,
Bishop C7 threatening mate!
And you have to trade queens, but now black is up a pawn all of a sudden, and G3
But-
is weak.
But so is H7. This is still a 3-result game. With 2 seconds, anything can happen. A mouse slip, a blunder. Rook F5, another excellent move. Robert, he's going for that pawn.
He goes King C8. Is that rook trapped?
Bishop A6, forced.
He goes rook B5.
No,
You can
goes
trade
back.
rooks.
Take it.
Watch out. The H7 pawn is safe and sound, and H6 is a problem.
You might lose this. If black wins H6, he wins the game. Now, if you're Magnus, do not flag. Do not flag.
F6, F6. Quick move.
Bishop
Free
G8,
moving.
draw.
That's a good awareness.
No,
by
you can't
Hikaru.
take it.
You can't take King
take the
G7?
pawn. It's tied.
Hikaru resigns, and we have a tied match with 17 minutes to go. For the first time since the beginning of this match, Magnus Carlsen is level.
With 3 wins in a row, Magnus had tied up the match. The following game appeared to be heading to a drawn rook endgame, but then Hikaru found an unexpected opportunity with rook c4.
You try to squeeze just because you have the upper hand, you've got the confidence.
Whoa. Apparently, rook C4 here might win a second pawn.
No way. Then rook A8.
Oh, and then rook takes B4. Magnus just blundered with C5. He rushed it.
Oh my goodness.
He rushed
Rook
it.
C4. Huge
He
moment
might
for
lose this
Hikaru.
game.
How does
Oh,
he?
my lands.
How can he survive here?
I don't think he can. I think he's going to end up 2 pawns down, and that is still salvageable in some cases, but not here. Well, you zigzag your way through.
But the eval bar 2.2 is like fortress
Oh!
territory. Wait, blunder.
King D3 blunders.
Yeah.
Hikaru kept the pressure up in the next game as well, and he found a strong idea to trap Magnus's queen.
Carlsen once again. Dude, this is already heroic defense by Magnus. He's
Wow.
somehow holding on.
G6.
Oh, but the queen's going
Oh!
to get trapped. G4 is coming. It's unstoppable.
That is crazy. Then F5. And so what awareness from Hikaru?
Queen H5. Get rid of the pawn. Oh, or
G3
this.
traps the bishop.
Even better.
Hikaru is a beast.
Oh, but what a move by Magnus. GF.
There's nothing
That
there.
didn't work. Queen was
Paper
pinned.
tiger,
You
as
couldn't
you
have
like
taken
to
the
say.
rook. It's
And
over.
Hikaru knows he's winning.
Unreal.
Magnus resigns.
There was definitely still time remaining for Magnus to come back from down 2, but it was going to be tight. He played a great game with white and won in the end, but it was a long game and it used a lot of time. He was now down 1 with 5 minutes remaining. In the next game, Hikaru showed that he was not satisfied to play solidly with white and try to hold onto his edge. He pushed his pawn up to a6, setting up some nice tactics later in the game. There was only 3 minutes and 20 seconds left in the match clock. Magnus had to win quickly to have any chance of starting one more final game and winning that one as well to force tiebreaks. Initially, it did not look like he would be able to win this game, much less win quickly, but then he got an edge in the rook endgame, and he quickly turned that into a winning edge. Would he be able to win it though before Hikaru drained the remaining clock time?
Hikaru
This
Nakamura
might
is
be
on
it.
the verge of an SEC championship. He is in the driver's seat. He's not losing this game with the black pieces. Unless something just happened.
Oh, he did. He blundered the pawn. Now he's got 50 seconds. He might even be able to build up enough time to bleed it out. It's going to be really close, but Magnus has winning chances now.
Oh, for sure. He'll go F3
Oh my
and
gosh.
G4 at some point.
But
1 minute,
Robert,
35 seconds remain on the match clock.
look at what Hikaru is doing. He's just playing instantly. He's trying to bleed this out. He's got
Uh-oh.
40 more seconds.
Uh-oh,
He needs
but
to
rookie
burn.
five. Rookie
He's
five.
losing.
He's lost. He's positionally
But does
lost.
he have enough time?
Oh my gosh, Magnus has to show off the mouse speed right now because this is a winning position for White. He is winning a second pawn just like Hikaru did in a previous game.
Magnus cannot afford to waste a single second. This could be over if Hikaru can bleed another minute off the match clock. Here we go.
1 minute, 10 seconds. Every
look at the
second counts. King H6.
He's going to win.
G5, Rook F6.
G5.
Rook
Rook
F6.
F6. And King G7.
G7, it's winning. Oh my gosh.
No, but Hikaru, he has 15 more seconds. He needs to bleed.
15 seconds. King F8.
King F8. Move. If you're Magnus. Hikaru's going to make it happen. Isn't he?
G5.
Oh,
G5.
Oh.
Rook F4.
Rook F4. Move.
Oh my gosh, do the ladder. Queen.
C8 Queen. No, he doesn't have enough time. Hikaru made it.
Over. It's over.
No,
He's
that's
not
it.
doing
It's
time.
over.
You see, Hikaru recognized it. He wins the Speed Chess Championship. Magnus gives a little bit of clap for Hikaru Nakamura. But what a performance from the American superstar. He has won the Fisher Random World Championship this year. He's winning Title Tuesday pretty much twice every single Tuesday. And now he has taken the Speed Chess Championship. That is your streamer. That is your SCC winner of 2022.
Hikaru Nakamura is the 2022 Speed Chess Champion. The chess world has been waiting 5 years for the Speed Chess Championship rematch, and it delivered in every possible way. Both players were open, cheerful, and appreciative of their opponents in their post-match interviews.
No, I mean, I think the thing is I'm playing Magnus. I mean, if you can't get excited by playing Magnus, then why are you even playing chess? I mean, he's the best player in the world. He's the world champion. If you can't be excited, then like there's something wrong with you.
He's amazing at this format. I remember his match against Fedoseev 2 years ago. His 5+1 segment there. I felt that's pretty much as well as it's possible to play in that particular time control. And I did feel today that he came sort of at least very close to that level. So, hats off for that. That was not fun to face that particular segment, but it was amazing to see.